Hi everyone. For the second part of our LinkedIn workshop, we're going to focus more closely on how to construct an effective about summary. So in the last video, we discussed the importance of your profile picture and your headline. So now we're going to move on to the next part, the about summary. But first, I want to highlight an often overlooked part of your LinkedIn profile, which is your pronouns. So data collected by LinkedIn and the Human Rights Campaign have shown that if you include pronouns in your LinkedIn profile, it's related to a 29% increase in perceptions of professionalism and allyship, as well as a 23% increase in connection requests and 15% more profile views. Additionally, 83% of companies with growing diversity and inclusion initiatives encourage employees to include pronouns in their profiles as an act of inclusion. So let's transition now to talking about why your about summary matters. Ensure increased visibility. So 82% of recruiters indicate that the about section is crucial in forming their first impression of a candidate. Additionally, LinkedIn profiles with complete about summaries are 27% more likely to be discovered by recruiters during searches. Additionally, it helps increase engagement with your profile. So profiles with a detailed about summary receive 3.5 times more profile views compared to those without. And if you include specific skills and experiences, you can increase your profile views by up to 13 times. Like the professional summary on your resume, in your about summary, you want to provide a potential employer or recruiter with this elevator pitch, essentially that summarizes your career achievements and your career goals. What sets apart an about summary is that you also want to capture the reader's attention and help them get a glimpse at who you are by making it more personal than is typical in a resume. So remember, LinkedIn is a social media networking site, so you're going to add more of yourself in this. So let's take a look at an example of an about summary from an undergraduate student majoring in psych. So this reads, as an undergraduate psychology student passionate about enhancing the well-being of individuals through recreational therapy, I am eager to apply my knowledge and skills to help others live healthier, happier lives. My academic journey has equipped me with a strong foundation in psychological principles, and I'm particularly drawn to the therapeutic power of recreational activities. I aspire to become a recreational therapist where I can combine my love for the outdoors with my desire to make a positive impact on people's lives. I believe in the transformational potential of nature and physical activity, and I've seen firsthand how these elements can improve mental health and overall well-being. Through my studies and practical experiences, I have developed a deep understanding of how to design and implement therapeutic recreational programs tailored to individual needs. When I'm not immersed in my studies, you can find me hiking the scenic trails of Chattanooga. The beauty of nature not only rejuvenates me, but also inspires my approach to therapy. Whether it's through hiking, outdoor games, or recreational activities, I aim to create an inclusive and engaging programs that promote physical, emotional, and social health. I'm excited to connect with professionals in the field of recreational therapy and psychology, share insights, and collaborate on innovative approaches to therapeutic recreation. Let's work together to create meaningful experiences that enhance the quality of life for all. So, if the hiring manager has to act like a private investigator, reading through your LinkedIn profile, and particularly your about summary, you are not doing a great job of giving them the evidence. So while that may have been worded very well and the grammar and like the lingo and everything sounded right, it didn't really give people a good sense of who this student is and what they have achieved. And that was really missing. So let's take this step by step. So here, this first part, I tried to bold words that are really typical of AI. Passionate about this, enhancing the well-being of individuals. So we don't, in day-to-day talk, tend to call people individuals. That's like an academic language we might use in a paper. And even arguably, we shouldn't do it then. So we call them people. And so this doesn't read like a person wrote this. This does not have a student's voice coming through. Eager to apply, academic journey. Like if you don't talk like that when you're talking to a roommate or a family member or a partner, then you shouldn't be doing it in your LinkedIn profile because you're talking to other people. You want to write how you talk, essentially. And this is not written like this. This is written how ChatGPT writes because it was written by ChatGPT. So academic journey, equipped me, strong foundation in, particularly drawn to, therapeutic power. Those are all words that just scream AI wrote me. So let's take a look at this written by a person. So living in Tennessee, the outdoors has played a strong role in my life. Hiking has always been more than a hobby to me. It is restorative. It wasn't until I took an undergraduate course in positive psychology that I learned that I was unknowingly engaging in mindfulness exercises and other evidence-based techniques used by mental health professionals to improve well-being. It was then that the idea of blending my professional goal of becoming a therapist with my love of nature was born. This sounds like a person wrote it. It also gives you more of a sense of who that person is. And it's more storytelling here. Not quite, but like it's getting closer. It's storytelling adjacent, I would say. And it reads, this is more engaging. This is more enjoyable to read. And that's what we want when we're writing our LinkedIn profile. Again, this is different from the resume where we have to be a lot more concise. So let's look at this next part. So again, you can see I bolded words that are really typical in AI writing. Aspire to become, combine my love of blank with my desire to blank. Transformative potential of developed a deep understanding. And as an undergraduate, we're usually not developing a deep understanding of anything. We're developing an understanding. So again, AI loves to put in those adjectives to make things, it's just hyping you up, which is lovely, but also we want to be accurate in this. So, and again, this doesn't read like a person wrote it and is talking to another person. So let's look at this revised version. So my goal of becoming a recreational therapist has motivated me to seek opportunities that will help me build the knowledge and skills needed to shape me into a successful therapist with a competitive graduate school applicant. I am the proudest of, and we can see bullet points here, my ability to balance work with maintaining a high GPA. I was recognized on the Dean's List for the past 2 semesters, and my work with Lookout Mountain Conservancy. I contributed to the protection of over 1,200 acres of land, the preservation of 800 plus native plants, and helped mentor high school students in the Howard School Leadership Program. So this reads more personal. It's also giving evidence, those quantifiable metrics there for some of the outcomes with the organization that they were working with. It's talking about their high GPA. So all of this reads like a person, and it's giving you engaging and good quantifiable metrics. So this last part, again, you can see excited to connect with professionals in the field, share insights. Share insights is like really common AI language, collaborate on innovative approaches, and create meaningful experiences. Nothing wrong with any of these things, but again, it just doesn't sound like a person, how a person would talk if they're talking to a friend or colleague or at a networking event. So instead, I know I have a lot to learn before I can become a licensed recreational therapist. I'm here to connect and learn from mental health professionals who can help me grow into a competent and compassionate therapist. So overall, this revised about summary emphasizes academic achievement, relevant skills, and quantifiable metrics. So these are all components of a successful about summary that are going to attract the attention of recruiters and hiring managers. And really, recruiters are looking for 4 things when they evaluate your about summary. The first is what you do in your years of experience. So for example, I'm an undergraduate psychology student on the Dean's List with 3 years of customer service experience and a completed practicum placement working with neurodiverse children. I am pursuing a career as a school psychologist so I can help support and advocate for students' mental health and emotional well-being. This is all very similar to that resume professional summary. Second, you want to tell them what you're good at. For example, I've developed communication, empathy, and problem-solving skills through my customer service roles and practicum experience. In fact, my practicum supervisor noted how well I made connections with the children I worked with and how I was able to quickly adapt to their changing needs. Third, you need to prove it. This is where you need to pull out those quantifiable metrics. So, for example, some favorite career moments include achieving Dean's List recognition for academic excellence throughout my undergraduate studies, gaining valuable hands-on experience during my practicum where I helped develop and implement individualized support plans for 2 neurodiverse children, and being able to witness a child go from being afraid of the water to looking forward to swim time when I worked with them. And then lastly, you're going to have that call to action. So I welcome the opportunity to connect with professionals in school psychology and education to exchange ideas and learn more about best practices for supporting students' mental health. So tools like ChatGPT can help you craft this LinkedIn About summary, but as we have discussed previously in other videos, it's only as good as the information you give it. And so if you give it generic information, it's going to give you a generic About summary. So to get those About summaries that are going to make you more competitive, you have to give it more detailed information. So write down your skills, your key experiences, the type of job you're applying for, list any achievements, awards, unique qualities you have. In the case of LinkedIn, you're going to talk about maybe hobbies or interests that relate to your career goals. And you can also see my video on quantifiable metrics for more information on how to do this effectively. So here are examples of some prompts that you can use. So what should I include in my LinkedIn professional summary if I am targeting insert job title here, roles, and insert industry type here? You could also plug in your current About summary and ask for suggestions by prompting, please review my current LinkedIn About summary and provide suggestions on how I can make it more compelling to hiring managers. And then here's a structured prompt. You'll recognize that this is really similar to the one that we use when we're talking about resumes. So can you craft a compelling LinkedIn About summary that highlights my current role as an undergraduate student majoring in X and my X number of years of experience in ABC field, showcase my career achievements of, and then you're going to insert your quantifiable metrics and achievements. And remember, you can make some of these achievements more personal, like you saw in the one where it was talking about helping the child to learn how to swim and overcome that fear of water. And highlight my growing skill set, and then insert those skills there. Conclude by noting my goal of becoming, insert your target career, and my desire to build a professional network in the field of blank. So ensure the tone is professional yet approachable. So let's look at an example putting in some criteria from a past student of mine. So we're going to highlight her 3 years of customer service experience, being on the Dean's List, volunteering 50 plus hours for a local hospice facility, being trusted to train 10 plus new hires in that customer service role, some of her skills of conflict resolution, communication, and her goal is to become a geropsychologist, and she wants to connect with people in gerontology and the mental health field. So let's look at this. Here I am, I'm importing that prompt with all of those details, and I asked LinkedIn to give me a summary. And as I was reading through the summary, I just saw how generic it was, and I didn't really feel like those quantifiable metrics were pointed out. So, and the other thing is there is too much of that driven by a passion for honed essential skills and those types of AI-driven language. So I asked ChatGPT to take out some of the AI language, such as passion for, honed, eager to connect, and to revise it. And then I also asked it to add in the quantifiable metrics in like bullet point format to help them stand out a little bit there. Because, and if you ask ChatGPT to change the language and the way it's phrasing it, it will. So if you want it to take the professional tone down, it can do that. And what you'll see here is it definitely changed the tone, so it wasn't as AI driven sounding. It sounds more like someone wrote it. So as an undergraduate student majoring in psych with a minor in gerontology, I bring 3 years of hands-on customer service experience and a track record of academic excellence, including placement on the Dean's List. And then it lists some of those career highlights. So this is worded much more approachable, and so I like the way it did it, but it was also just a little bit too brief. And so I was asking it to talk a little bit more about some of the things that the student enjoyed with their work when they were working with older adults and their families in hospice, and to talk about being enjoying being able to support families and celebrate the lives of the people that they worked with, as well as helping them like die with dignity. And so the thing is, and what you'll notice here is I'm inputting this in and I'm asking ChatGPT to add it in, but it can't tell a story for you. So you'll see that it went through and it added another sentence essentially. So the first bullet point: volunteering 50 plus hours for a local hospice facility where I deeply value my time supporting older adults and their families. I find immense fulfillment in celebrating their lives and ensuring dignified endings for all of those I'm privileged to work with. That does not sound like how someone who has had meaningful connections with people and worked with people in hospice and been with them at the end of their lives would write. So this is where we can see really the limitation of ChatGPT and what it can't bring to the table for you. So instead, what I would do here is tell a story. I would add in my own personal story of one of the families that I worked with that really just touched me, and the person's life and how they really helped solidify that I wanted to go into geropsychology, and I would write up that experience and that story, and then I'd plug it back into ChatGPT, and then you can ask it to help with flow and grammar and things like that. But you can see here, it can't write that story for you. So you're going to have to write it yourself. You're going to have to work it in there, and then you can ask it to help with the flow and the grammar afterwards. So remember, AI is limited, and these about summaries start to sound all the same to recruiters and hiring managers. So you want yours to stand out. Summaries that are written in a professional tone but are personalized to reflect your unique experiences and your goals are 42% more likely to be read in full by recruiters. Personal stories or anecdotes, like what we just spoke about with the students about summary, talking about her work in hospice, if they're related to your career roles and your professional experiences, can make profiles 29% more memorable. So you want to do that, but you also want to make sure it's relevant. And then remember, you're going to need to update this about summary regularly as you require new skills, experiences, and achievements. So regularly updating the about summary to reflect new skills and experiences can result in a 30% higher engagement rate. So thanks so much for hanging in there. In the upcoming videos, we'll cover the work and volunteer experience sections, and we'll also discuss other ways you can leverage LinkedIn to boost your career.